Hello, it is 9 p.m. and how was your day? It is News Extra time and here I am. And guess what? It is a good harvest of stories, beginning with the Federal Executive Council, where President Buhari has directed all members of the council seeking elective positions to resign on or before the 16th of this month. On the heels of this is the appeal court judgment voiding a federal high court earlier ruling on Section 84, subsection 12 of the 2022 Electoral Act. From the red chambers of the National Assembly comes the cheering news of the consideration of the National Cancer Center Establishment Bill. We have quite a lot on education, ranging from the wrap-up of the 2022 JAM, Unified Tertiary Matriculation Exams, and the many matters arising from it, to strikes and the various dimensions. There is also a bit on security, transportation, and safety. How many buildings are going to pass integrity tests if conducted? I leave you to ponder on that. We also have business and sports, these and more from our lineup tonight. So join us as the taste of the pudding lies in the eating. I am Fatima Waruba, and this is News Extra. You're welcome. You can follow this news broadcast live on our website, nta.ng/live, and all our social media platforms displayed on the screen for updates. All members of the Federal Executive Council seeking elective positions have been directed to resign their appointments on or before Monday, 16th of May 2022. President Muhammadu Buhari gave the directive while presiding over the resumed meeting of the council. State House correspondent Adam Sambo reports.
Without doubt, there has been a raging controversy on the legality or otherwise of ministers seeking elective positions still keeping their appointments as members of the Federal Executive Council. As at the last count, 8 of them have obtained nomination as well as expression of interest forms to contest for governorship, National Assembly and presidential elections. That controversy has now been put to rest by President Muhammadu Buhari.
Mr. President has the right to appoint members of his cabinet, reshuffle them, replace them, and to that extent, all members of the Federal Executive Council aspiring either to be president or senator or governor or any elective office must submit a state of resignation latest by the 16th of May 2022. The question was raised, does it affect other appointees? And my position remains the same. As of this moment, my mandate from the President is that all members of the Federal Executive Council vying for office will have to resign their appointments on or before 16th of May 2022. If there's going to be any amendment or any inclusion, you will be informed in due course.
Meanwhile, several memoranda from ministries, departments and agencies have been considered and approved by the Council for enhanced service delivery to Nigerians. And on behalf of the NSCDC, Interior Minister Rauf Arebeshola secured approval for the purchase of 52 operational vehicles at 2.029 billion naira.
This is done to enhance the capacity of the agency to combat crimes and criminality in Nigeria. It's my belief that it will go a long way in protecting lives and property in Nigeria.
For the power sector, 3 major contracts have been approved towards enhancing the performance of the national grid for improved power supply to consumers.
One of the lines is the one that's linking with Benin, Osogbo, and Akure, Ondo State. So the 3 states of that grid and that area have been weak for one time. Also, they wanted to KVA in Akwanga and Lafia and Nasarawa State. So if we empower our grid properly, and given the encouragement the President and FEC has given us, we promise Nigerians that the grid will be enhanced and power supply to the country will improve.
It will be recalled that due to the intermittent grid collapse recently, some parts of the country have been thrown into total darkness for some time, hence the need for the national grid to be reinvigorated towards providing adequate and effective power supply to Nigerians on a sustainable basis. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja has set aside the judgment of the Federal High Court sitting in Umuahia, which voided Section 84, subsection 12 of the Electoral Act 2022. Section 84, subsection 12 of the Electoral Act 2022 bars political appointees from being a voting delegate or be voted for at the convention or congresses of any political party for the purpose of the nomination of candidates for any election. In a judgment on Wednesday, a three-man panel of justices headed by Justice Hama Kaubarka held that the Federal High Court in Umuahia had no jurisdiction to entertain the matter because the plaintiff, Nduka Edede, lacked the locus standi to file it. Neither did he establish any cause of action on the suit. The Federal High Court in Umuahia voided Section 84, subsection 12 of the Electoral Act 2022 while determining the appeal on its merits. The appellate court held that the provision is unconstitutional as it violates Section 42, subsection 1A of the Constitution and denies a class of Nigerian citizens their rights to participate in elections. Section 42 of the Constitution protects every Nigerian from being discriminated against based on his or her ethnic group, place of origin, religion, or political opinion. The judgment was on an appeal filed by the PDP. And the House of Representatives today held an emergency plenary session to amend Section 84, subsection 8 of the Electoral Act 2022. The amendment is to enable statutory delegates participate and vote in conventions, congresses, and meetings of their respective political parties. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali has the report.
A couple of days to the commencement of party primaries preparatory to the 2023 general elections, an omission described as a fundamental error was noticed in the Electoral Act. This exercise by the House of Representatives, as done Tuesday in the Senate, the insertion of statutory delegates into Section 84, subsection 8 of the Electoral Act is to align with the provisions contained in the Constitution of political parties.
Electoral Act number 13/2022, and for related matters, all members report the bill was permitted to a committee of the whole on Wednesday, 11 May 2020. The House Leader will move for its consideration.
The only consideration we have before us today is only this section of the law, which has to do with the inclusion of statutory delegates. Nothing more, nothing less. I rise to second the motion moved by the House Leader that we do adopt this report. I so second.
Statutory delegates, also called automatic delegates, are party members holding elective offices such as the President, Vice President, State Governors, Deputy Governors, National and State Assembly members, as well as National Working Committee members of political parties, among others. The bill was given expeditious consideration as it was read the first, second, and third time and subsequently passed. 6 other bills passed first reading. The Deputy Speaker, Ahmed Idris Wasi, said the House is taking steps to intervene in the industrial action by ASU.
Chairman of Committees of Labour, Education, to expedite action on the resolution of the crisis in the education industry. This will go a long way in helping our citizens.
2 matters of urgent public importance were adopted. The first from Khadija Bukar, calling on relevant agencies to assist victims of last Monday's heavy rainstorm, which destroyed properties in Damaturu, Yobe State, and the second from Danjuma Shedi on the need for authorities to address banditry and terrorism in parts of Taraba State.
The flood disaster caused extensive damage, destroyed several properties. 13 people have been left dead over 52 people injured, and properties worth millions of naira destroyed in different parts of the metropolis.
6 soldiers were killed. This was after bandits had earlier killed a policeman at the checkpoint and other civilians at Tati. And the commander of the 93 Battalion is missing in action.
Plenary has been adjourned to Tuesday, 24th May 2022. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Cancer, a global ailment that the World Health Organization says accounts for 7.9 million deaths worldwide, needs a more holistic approach. This is why the Senate is considering a bill that seeks to establish a national center for cancer research and treatment in Nigeria. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo reports.
The report from the World Health Organization expressed concern that in spite of the growing challenge and awareness on cancer, Nigeria is yet to have a comprehensive data on the ailment, a big setback for its management. In response, the Senate introduced a bill that seeks to close this gap through the establishment of a national center for its coordination in Nigeria. The bill, sponsored by Senator Yakubu Oseni, when passed into law, is expected to provide holistic national strategy for the early detection and treatment of cancer.
It is my view that the National Center for Cancer Research and Treatment Bill 2022 is of great importance to our nation and will give a great boost to our national health agenda. In advanced countries today, they are not as scared as we are with this kind of ailments because they have done so much research.
As it is, we don't have any hospital that coordinates the activities of treatment of cancer patients.
Senate has passed the Customs and Excise Management Act Repeal and Re-Enactment Bill, which seeks, among other issues, to provide for the use of electronic documents and payment by the service and to make it a legal entity. The bill is sponsored by Senator Francis Ali Mehena.
The bill provides for the Nigerian Customs Service a consolidated single legal reference document instead of its scattered multiple enactments. And two, the bill makes the Nigerian Customs Service a legal entity under the supervision of the Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning.
And the bill is passed. Well, congratulations, distinguished colleagues. This is one of those very important and fundamental legislations that the customs in Nigeria need. We believe that this will revitalize the customs and excise in Nigeria.
Senator Francis Ali Mehena also drew the attention of the Senate on the need for the Nigerian Ecological Fund and Nigeria Erosion and Water Management Project to urgently seek permanent solution to the erosion in Afashio and Afowa communities in Edo North. Senate condemned the bandits' attack in Taraba South and urged NEMA to provide relief materials for victims. The motion by Senator Emmanuel Boacha also harped on the need to increase the presence of security personnel in the area.
I also crave the indulgence of my colleagues and all Nigerians that this is the time to support the military because they are actually paying supreme price for protecting us.
The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has appointed Senator Danjuma Allah from Kaduna South as Deputy Minority Whip of the Senate, following the defection of Senator Ibrahim Rambaba to APC. Deputy Majority Leader of the Senate, Ajayi Borofis, informed the Senate of his intention to contest for the presidency in 2023. Senate has adjourned to Tuesday, the 7th of June 2022, to enable senators participate in their party primaries. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
And let's head to Lafia now, where Vice President Yemi Osinbajo is advocating collaboration between federal and state governments in the implementation of the ease of doing business policy to attract investors and provide favorable environment for businesses to thrive. The Vice President stated this in Lafia at the Made in Nasarawa Investment Summit. Ali Tijani has that.
It is the first investment summit organized by the Nasarawa state government to showcase economic potential of the state to investors, with particular focus on agriculture and solid minerals. Vice President Yemi Oshibanjo joined former Ghanaian President and other captains of industries to re-echo the need for Nigeria to explore potentials at state levels for accelerated development. While commenting the state government vision to make Nasarawa an investment destination through policies and programs to attract investors, the Vice President is optimistic that the state is on the path to economic prosperity.
I think that one of the ways of making Nasarawa State a solid investment destination is that hand-holding. We certainly need to do a lot in terms of cajoling investors.
Sharing the Ghana experience, former Ghanaian President Dramani Mahama emphasized the need for an investment plan that captures the needs of the people.
The private sector and investors will go where they have an enabling environment. They'll go where there's peace and security. They'll go where there's power.
Governor Abdullahi Sule says his administration is committed to making the state among the top 3 economically viable states in the country, with ongoing reforms and policies to make the state self-sufficient.
So we use our competitive advantage in order for us to get to where we are. And I think we have the people who are willing, and we have the people, who are determined to make Nasarawa State great.
Governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, National Chairman of APC, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, former Governor of the state, Senator Umaru Tanko Almakora, and industrialist Aliko Dangote, the 14th Emir of Kano, Muhammadu Sanusi II, among others, stresses the need for states to boost internally generated revenue to tackle challenges of insecurity, as well as provide more incentives to attract investors. They all commend the state government for the summit, describing it as a platform to share experiences, ideas and business opportunities that the state can leverage. With the theme, Diamond in the Rough, it is expected that the outcome of the investment summit will open up states to investors. In Lafia, Aliu Tijani, NTA News.
In the meantime, Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umar Zulum says corruption remains a major impediment to effective governance at the local government level nationwide, hampering progress and development. The governor stated this when he received the Director General, National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, NIPS, in company of participants of Senior Executive Course 44 Group 7 of the Institute on a study tour in Borno State. Mohammed Goni reports.
Participants of the Senior Executive Course 44 Group 7 2022 are in Maiduguri for 6 days study tour on strengthening local governance, challenges, options and opportunities. Professor Bagana Umar Zulum appreciated the Director General Professor Ayo Omotayo for choosing Borno for the study tour, adding that the state stands to gain a lot from the visit. He highlighted causes of the insurgency, which include infrastructural deficit, poverty, and climate change, among others, saying the role of government at the grassroots in addressing the challenges is most important. The governor was emphatic that unless corruption is addressed at all levels, Nigeria will not develop, citing ghost workers, ghost figures, payment for projects not executed, underage employment, among others, as some of the corrupt practices at the grassroots.
Now we want members of this particular group to recommend this very important phenomenon to the presidency for consideration.
The governor also highlighted some measures taken by the present administration in the state to change the narrative through verification of local government staff and that of primary school teachers. Professor Ayo Omotayo, who said they are in Maiduguri as part of efforts to better the society and to move Nigeria forward, noted that Borno was chosen for the study tour not only because the governor is an alumnus of the institute, but also was informed by its peculiar challenges of over a decade-long insurgency from which it is fast recovering.
Out of about 13 states in the federation that have international borders, only Borno State has a border with 3 different countries. That means it's a very unique state in Nigeria.
Professor Ayo Omotayo, who noted rapid post-insurgency reconstruction and development of Borno within a short space of time, described Governor Zulum as an example of what NIPS can do, saying the institute is proud of Governor Zulum, the only sitting governor who is an alumnus of the institute. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni, NTA News.
Taraba State Police Command has confirmed the killing of 7 security personnel that includes 6 military officers and 1 mobile policeman in Takum. The Taraba Police Public Relations Officer, DSP Abdullahi Usman, who confirmed the incident, said the commanding officer 93 Battalion Takum, Lieutenant Colonel Emenike, was reportedly missing in the ambushed scenario by alleged terrorists. Correspondent Mohammed Sambo reports.
The Taraba State Police Public Relations Officer DSP Usman Abdullahi said the Joint Security Task Force in Takum was ambushed by some terrorists, killing 6 soldiers and 1 police officer, while the commanding officer 93 Battalion Nigerian Army Takum, Lieutenant Colonel Emenike, was reported missing. Abdullahi Usman said the command received distress call regarding the incident on Tuesday and has since drafted officers and men of the command to ensure normalcy in the area.
While they were on their way going to the scene, they were ambushed. The fire cut across 1 police mobile officer and then 6 military officers.
DSP Usman charged Tarabans to live peacefully with one another and report any suspicious movement to police, as people from other places have been trooping to the state. Meanwhile, the police PPRO has confirmed the bomb blast that has brought down part of the fence of the 6th Battalion Nigerian Army Jalingo, though no life was lost.
The blast was thrown and nobody was seen around the vicinity, but it was a very severe sound. Nobody was involved. The only thing, the sound and the heavy nature of the bomb, shaking the wall and then pull it down.
According to DSP Usman, normalcy has returned to the area as security personnel are at the scene to ensure law and order. In Jalingo, Mohammed Sambo, NTA News.
Really sad. Now, traditional rulers play a vital role in the sustenance of peace in the society. It is a recognition of this that the Center for Humanitarian Dialogue is enhancing the capacity of traditional rulers from Benue State to effectively tackle everyday crises arising from their communities. Francis Fom has the report.
Seated in this hall are traditional rulers from Benue State. They are in Abuja at the instance of the humanitarian dialogue to be adequately equipped with the requisite knowledge in resolving conflicts through dialogue and mediation. Improving their capacity for conflict resolution is said to be a step towards improving the peace and unity in the nation.
They have been playing their role, but it is not sufficient enough to mitigate conflict. So this is what we are trying to do now by capacitating them through this training on how best they can be able to manage these conflicts before they escalate.
Chairman of the Benue State Council of Traditional Rulers and the Tortif, who said he came from the university environment, observed that the training is a necessary tool for him and many others in ensuring sustained peace in Benue State and by extension, the country. Other partners in the training session all agree that Nigeria will be better for it if traditional rulers are skilled in the act of mediation and conflict resolution.
The importance of this training is because our entry points usually for all our dialogue processes is the traditional institutions. The very first day we went to Benue, the first person we ever visited as a group was the Tortif.
If you want to achieve even more, we need to work together and learn from others. Only this way can we stand through the difficult times.
So for the NTA, any effort, any move that will bring peace or make us live together as a people in harmony and understanding is what NTA will never joke with. And that's why the GG will always ensure that such activities are always given prominence.
The traditional rulers are expected to disseminate the knowledge to their community. Franks is from NTA News.
Well, thank you so much, Francis, for that. Now let's take our first breather at this point when News Extra returns. Education matters hold sway. Join us for the wrap-up of the 2022 JAM UTME and the conversation around it, just as we bring you latest development around the clog in the wheel of progress of this very critical sector. Strike. See you in just a moment. Great to have you back. The 2022 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination started nationwide on Friday, 6th of May, with plan to run till 14th of May. However, there seemed to be a change in the finishing date. So let's hear more and why from Alain Kaujo.
This is one of the CBT centers that hosted some candidates that participated at the just concluded 2022 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, where more than 1.7 million candidates participated. As of Friday last week till 3 p.m. on Tuesday, this center was a beehive of activities. Now, this center is devoid of the 5-day exercise, even though these computers were busy attending to the needs of candidates. They are now taking a rest, awaiting the next exercise. What is now left for the board is addressing gray areas before the release of results. Olayin Kauju, NTA News.
Oh, thank you so much for that background, Olainka. And to talk more on that, we have the Registrar of JAM. He is Isaac Olede. I welcome you to News Extra. It's good to have you.
Thank you.
I know you had a very, very busy week since Friday.
Yes.
Thank you so much for honoring this invitation. So, we've seen that it's supposed to end on the 14th and it's ending now. So, are you saying, or is the board saying that the 2022 UTME is, completely over?
Completely over. That is it. You have said it.
Okay.
Completely over by tomorrow.
Okay.
Because tomorrow, about 500 candidates in Malum Fachi in Katsina State. That's the only outstanding examination we have tomorrow. We have finished all over the country. We will have finished in Katsina today or yesterday, but unfortunately, the major CBT center in Malum Fachi and Katsina got burnt, owned by the state government. So, unfortunately, that's the reason why we had to arrange 4 sessions per day. You see, you cannot just arrange examination for just that town and 2 other places in Lagos where we had the church fall. So we had 4 sessions per day, and we had arranged, because the window left for JAM was up to 14th. And we had arranged to leave 2 days in case of accident, in case of eventuality, and so on. But fortunately for us, we had no serious setback. So the 2 days that were injury period will now be period for rest for both candidates and the examiners.
Okay, so now that is over, like you said, when are we expecting results?
Oh, results maybe tomorrow. We will start having the results. We are just checking the reports. We had thought of releasing the result today, but for one reason or the other, we couldn't. By tomorrow, we will release the results, God willing.
Congratulations to that.
Thank you.
So, would you say it was a success, or did you all have major challenges that you need to talk about?
We didn't have any unexpected problem. It was a huge success. We were expecting, like you see, we arranged 2 extra days in case there would be problems, but we didn't have a major problem. We have pockets of problems here and there, but they were not insurmountable, and it's now over.
So how about, do you have any plans, for those that have issues, maybe one issue or the other? Do you have like a special plan for them?
Yes, we will look at anybody who has issues. Let him or her come up with the issues. We have established way of communication. Some parents, school centers, we don't countenance such. You are not party to the examination. You are not considered as part of the examination. You are not an eyewitness. You are, at best, you are carrying hearsay. So for us, if there are problems, students will complain through the appropriate channel. They have free ticketing. All they do is go online. This is your problem. We consider everybody on his own merit. So that's where we are. But we thank God it's over, and it's over, well over as expected.
Okay, that's a good one. So thank you so much for coming on News
Thank
Extra.
you very much.
Yes, we wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Yes, that was Isaac Oloyede, the Registrar General. Talk more on education now. To acquire a university degree, a student is expected to spend an average of 5 academic calendars. However, the ongoing strike by university lecturers is likely to give students unwarranted extra years in school that may even affect their eligibility for certain jobs. Now, the students are worried and have been expressing their concerns on the streets. Obehi Otobo reports on the situation with students of the University of Benin.
After waiting patiently for over 2 months for the federal government and ASU to resolve issues that will lead to the end of the lingering strike action, some tertiary institution students in the country have been taken to the streets in peaceful protests. Here in Benin City a few days ago, students of the University of Benin came out to block this city center. They are protesting the ongoing strike action by ASU. They have threatened to disrupt the forthcoming election if issues are not addressed in good time.
I'm in a 5-year course. I entered school 2016 November. This is 2020 May. And I'm still in school doing what exactly? We are tired. Federal government are actually settled their different and they should allow us to resume.
Our agitations and our prayers might not be answered anytime soon if we don't keep protesting and if we don't keep airing our grievances. If we keep quiet, our destiny might be quiet.
All we had been saying since 2021 was that the federal government should now come, study that document. If there are still issues they think need adjustments or modification, they should let us know. And then we'll sign, and then they can begin implementation, which they have refused to do up to this moment.
The protest doesn't seem to be yielding the desired results. ASU has again announced an extension of the strike by 12 weeks. This news is not sitting well with most Nigerians.
The situation is quite devastating.
I feel bad though. This is uncalled for.
With both parties resuming negotiations, it is hoped that the days ahead will bring good news for students, parents, and indeed all Nigerians. In Benin, Obehi Otobo Presai, NTA News.
2022 is definitely not the best year for many Nigerian university students. Just when the year was very young, precisely 14th February, they were greeted with a warning strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities over some unresolved issues with the federal government. Hingino John Adams on this report examines the way forward.
Their future ambitions are at stake as the ASU strike lingers. After the recent announcement of extension of the strike by 3 months, these students from the University of Lagos embarked on a peaceful protest to call for a permanent solution to the incessant industrial action. Their body language shows they are not ready to mute their voice until their demand is met.
We are tired of staying at home. We are tired. I'm a graduate. I'm here for my master's, but nothing can be done.
My ID card says 2021. That's the expiry date of my ID card. And now it's 2022, and I'm still in school. I've not even gotten a project topic for crying out loud.
The prolonged strike means additional years in school for the students, thereby elongating their year of graduation. This is not good for them, considering the pegging of entry age for employment by some organizations, especially the private sector.
They are always talking of years of experience. So how do you get those years of experience when you are already delayed in graduating from the school?
Effects of the strike are multidimensional.
So long as ASU continue to be on strike,
there will always be issues of insecurity, there will be issues of unemployment, there will be issues of skill deficits and what have you.
Now, what is the way forward?
Don't forget that this was an agreement that was made in 2009. So the government and ASU need to come to a table and say, this is it, this is what is possible in the immediate, this is what is not possible in the immediate. This is how and when we will do what.
As negotiations continue, Nigerians are hopeful that the federal government and ASU will come to a compromise and break the age-long standing history of strikes. And if this is achieved, they believe the move could go a long way in giving more credibility and rating to Nigerian universities. In Lagos, Hingino, John Adams, NTA News.
And unless the meeting scheduled between the Ministry of Education and members of the Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics, ASUP, for tomorrow, Thursday, to address concerned issues by the union, the polytechnics might begin a 2-week warning strike starting from Monday next week. It's over to Emmanuel Ayemiro for details.
As the public university system has been shut down for about 3 months now due to unresolved industrial disputes, the polytechnics are warming up to resume the suspended strike, which observers say could worsen the already declining standards of higher education due to incessant strikes. The Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics, ASUP, is urging the Ministry of Education to use the scheduled meeting for Thursday, 12th of May, to resolve the 9 issues in contention to avoid another round of industrial unrest in the polytechnics, as the ultimatum issued has already expired on the 4th of this month.
Our union has not declared to an indefinite shutdown in response to this. We are still giving a window of opportunity to the government and these functionaries to still address the issues. We are not going to sign another agreement. There is nothing again to sign. There is nothing again to sign. We are talking about executing what has already been signed.
Another strike notice has been issued. The public is watching what it will turn out to be. Will it snowball into another full-blown strike? Only time will tell. Emmanuel Ayimiro, NTA News.
Sure, only time would tell. Determined more than ever to sanitize the system, the National Youth Service Corps says it will prosecute anyone found complicit in the mobilization of unqualified graduates for national service. NYSC Director General Major General Shuaibu Ibrahim gave the warning during the maiden retreat of NYSC management with registrars of core producing institutions in the country. Olain Kaojo reports.
There are 2,955 active core producing institutions on the NYSC database. Out of this figure, 320 are home-based. Today, the NYSC is experiencing various forms of abuses and shortfalls in core producing institutions because investigations have shown that some registrars abdicate their roles to subordinate officers.
Any neglect on the part of the registrars could be expensive.
This singular act has given rise to occasional mobilization of unqualified persons, many of whom have been detected by NYSC field officers. And it is to seek better ways of eliminating the flaws in the NYSC mobilization process by plugging all loopholes that this retreat with registrars is holding.
Management is now determined more than ever before to tighten the loopholes and commence the prosecution of anyone found complicit in the mobilization of unqualified persons.
Let NYSC rely on matriculation lists provided by CAPS, and you will see that there will be more sanity.
Dr. Mahmouda Abubakar is the registrar, Federal University, Gashua, in Yobe State.
Most of us in the university system know where the impediments are coming from. Usually, there are issues that have to do with records.
The theme of the retreat is appreciating the role of registrars as fulcrum in the mobilization process. Olayinka Ojo, NTA News.
Now, call it a noble career, or better still, the pride of all professions. Teaching has remained the foundation of many industry players. This is why professionalization of the career is dominating the center stage at the 24th annual seminar of the Nigerian Academy of Educators. Ian Region has that report.
They are tomorrow's leaders, and quality knowledge is the key to unlock the future. 86-year-old Dennis Okoro, a retired director of education with over 33 years' experience, says education of today is a bane to yesteryears.
Now is an occupation, because all comers, anybody who has a certificate, been to school, sees education as an alternative if he doesn't have a job. That is where the challenges begin.
The Nigerian Academy of Educators and the Teachers Regulation Council of Nigeria are seeking for solutions to these setbacks.
Looking forward to a future where our teachers will not only be well equipped in terms of their training, but they will be certified and licensed before they can practice.
We have to develop our teaching profession because that is where human capital development starts.
With the new National Teaching Policy, which extends the service years of teachers, provides special salary scheme amongst other incentives, it is hoped that the teaching profession in Nigeria be seen as a pride rather than a last resort. In Abuja, Ian John, NTA News.
A beautiful profession, I must say. I love to teach. Can that office or presidential building you occupy or under construction pass integrity tests? Big question. Stay tuned for safety and sanity in the construction industry, roles and other stories you can't afford to miss, I must say, when we come back from this special break we're about to take. Thanks so much for staying on News Extra. Well, it's time for us to talk about business, and we have Musa Abubakar with business news.
Thank you, Fatima. Well, let's begin by me telling you that latest figures from the National Bureau of Statistics show that at the end of the third quarter of 2021, Nigeria's real GDP at basic prices grew by 4.03% on a year-on-year basis, showing a steady improvement from the economic downturn in 2020. The report shows that the growth, however, improved further in fourth quarter 2021 with positive GDP growth rate of 3.98%. The negative quarterly growth in second and third quarter 2020 resulted in a recession, which led to a negative annual growth rate of -1.92% for 2020, compared to 2.27% in 2019 on a year-on-year basis. And now to energy. Oil prices jump on Wednesday after plunging nearly 10% in the previous two sessions, buoyed by supply concerns as flows of Russian gas to Europe fell and the European Union worked on gaining support for Russian oil embargo. Reuters report that Russian gas flows to Europe via Ukraine fell by a quarter after Kyiv halted use of a major transit route, blaming interference by occupying Russian forces. Brent crude rose 5.5% increase to $108.09 a barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude climbed $6.47 to $106.23. Now to capital market. It's been a mixed trading week on the Nigerian equities market after a negative close on Tuesday. Investors went home smiling this Wednesday as the market appreciated. The NJS All-Share Index climbed 1.99% at 52,838.45 basis points. The market capitalization advanced to 27.9 trillion naira. 470 million shares valued at 7.3 billion naira were traded in 7,255 deals. Jais Bank, Transcorp, and International Breweries were the top traders in terms of volume. Now that concludes business news. Fatima is now over to you.
Right?
Yep.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. for the business package. Now, the federal government says the dredging of the Excremals and upgrade of facilities at the eastern seaports will boost the import and export potentials in the region. This follows a stakeholders meeting on how to make the maritime and ports viable and profitable. Austin Edemodo reports that Managing Director of the Nigerian Ports Authority, Mohammed Bello Koko, chaired the interactive session after the inspection of facilities at Warri Port.
The ongoing efforts by the federal government to revitalize the Warri Port to ease importation and exportation of goods and services through the Warri Supply Port informed the visit of the Managing Director of the Nigerian Ports Authority, Mohammed Bello Koko. He expressed optimism that the current mapping and charting along the channels will enhance navigational efficiency.
Started the mapping and charting of the channel, which has not been done for over a decade or two, starting from the Fairway Buoy down to Cocoa Port. That means we are beginning to pay more attention to the ports outside Lagos. We have special interest in ensuring that Warri and other ports are actually more active.
For the Olu of Warri, Ogiame Otuasheli III, who received the NPA boss in his palace, the sustenance of the ongoing upgrading of the Warri seaport because of its strategic importance will prove vital to the development of the region.
The eastern ports need to be opened up, and I know that there has been some attempt to do so. It deserved yet another call, yet another push, and I will never deal with it for Mr. President. And so I am very happy.
At an interactive session, critical stakeholders discussed how to overcome the bottlenecks that have hindered the operational efficiency of the eastern ports to make it more viable and enterprising.
Delta port should be made your candidate port from the already congested Lagos port. The port is ours. We owe it a duty to make the port work.
Earlier, the staff of the Warri Port held a meeting with the Managing Director of the Nigerian Ports Authority, where issues relating to workers' welfare, training, recruitment, and upgrading of medical facilities were properly addressed. I'm Austin Edemodo, NTA News.
And as part of hitting the target of lifting 100 million Nigerians out of poverty by 2029, the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development has flagged off a 3-day capacity building training on income-generating activities to people living with disabilities in the Northwest Zone in Kano. Mohammed Ali reports that the idea is to reduce poverty and its attendant consequences on them.
With the current trends in world economies and the poverty level of vulnerables in Nigeria, which may likely to increase, multifaceted approach must be taken into cognizance.
It's packaged and designed.
This workshop is a third in the series across 6 geopolitical zones aimed at addressing the challenges of inclusiveness among people living with disabilities and developing their entrepreneurial competencies in business environments.
I have no doubt in my mind that the elimination of all forms of discrimination and violence against persons with disability and empowering them economically through provision of skills training will go a long way in paving the way for unbundling their full potentials. This initiative by the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs came at the right time, considering the economic situation of our people, most especially the PWDs.
Umar Ahmed is a person living with disability, traveled hundreds of kilometers from Gusau, Zamfara State, to attend the income-generating workshop. With other people in attendance, they will be trained on fish farming, phone repairs, as well as cosmetics production.
Will encourage us to become self-reliant and to believe in capability and disability in Nigeria.
I think what we learn here, we are going to take it back to our people to teach them so that they can be self-sufficient and self-reliant.
We usually rely on the petty things the government gives, but due to this training, at least we can generate something for ourselves, for the states in particular, and for Nigeria generally.
It is expected at the end of the training, 100,000 naira will be given to each participant a startup grant. Muhammad Ali, NTA News.
One may assume that with a functional trailer park on the Abuja-Kaduna highway, the menace of indiscriminate parking of articulated vehicles will be in the history books. However, Abdullahi Mohammed sets out to find out.
It was a car ride from Zuba to Jere, and looking forward was whether the establishment of a trailer park in Tafa has influenced the attitude of truck drivers parking indiscriminately, especially on the shoulders of the highway. From Kaduna Road, their old habit imminent. Attending to mechanical needs of their trucks on both shoulders of the highway with the impact undesirable. Even the shoulders of the newly reconstructed segment of the road not spared. Onto the old toll gate, they are having a field day. Enough space to refuel, fix and unwind. At Sabon Wuse, they are not to blame for a heap of waste consuming the highway. But at Tafa, where the trailer park opens its gates, the shoulders of the highway still remains the favorite sport. Fixing mechanical faults, washing the trucks and sometimes gauging tires. Ironically, all these services are found in the trailer park, which begs for more trucks into its kitty. So I decided to ask one of the truck drivers why they find pleasure in parking on the shoulders of the highway, even when the act is a thorn on the paths of other road users. He bluntly said it was because he saw many others doing the same thing. On a lighter note, I tested a stew being cooked by the roadside to be sure it's not one of the secrets that keeps keeping the truck drivers on the roadsides in Tapa. Hitting the newly reconstructed double-lane road to Jere, which I documented on the double screenshot, was a bunch of pleasure until I arrived at Jere. Arriving at Jere, an illegal trailer park is building up on the shoulders of the highway. Here, a new den of indiscriminate parking looms, the double shoulders of the highway taken over. But the truck drivers I spoke to say they sometimes have no choice. Mechanical faults develop without notice, and the most secured spot on the highway like Jere is a must stop for them.
Sometimes the mechanical problem may not surface until you start the journey because of bad roads. Just like it happened to my colleague here, whose truck suddenly developed fault. Even me, I just stopped to buy water and noticed one of my truck's tire flat.
I conclude my assignment here, and a pass mark or otherwise for the truck drivers remains your task. Yes, I mean you watching this story. From Jere along Kaduna-Abuja Highway, Abdullahi Mohammed, NTA News.
Interesting findings there, Abdullahi, and I will tell you, immediately I see you, or when next I see you at work, you must tell me how that stew tastes. While safety concerns are rife on the Izuba-Ajeri highway, elsewhere, it's applause for the good thing unfolding. Aba in Abia State has over the years been depicted as one city with the most dilapidated and impossible road network, while that age-long assessment could be said to be true. The new reality is that residents and visitors to the commercial city are counting the gains from numerous road rehabilitation, construction and reconstruction projects. Neka Ono tells us all about it.
Almost completed are Ngwa Road, Emelogu, Ehere, Aboweri, Ezuku, Osusu, and New Umahia roads. Work is also ongoing on Obohia and Ohanko roads.
At Obohia Road, you can see work going on there now. They are still working on the gutter and the road.
Something is happening at the road now, relatively inside Aba.
Ezuku, where I am, and Osusu roads had for close to 2 decades been cut off with no form of business going on around the area.
It has been more than decades that somebody passed from that angle to the other side.
We really cherished the efforts so far made by the government to put this road in order. I have this shop for over 15 years. I've not been doing anything here. I closed it.
Residents of Ohanku and Obohia Roads axis became homeless whenever it rained. They were also vulnerable to criminal attacks, as security operatives could hardly access these areas.
If there is any issue here, the security operatives will find it very easy now to come here, know what is happening, and the road will help every other person to escape.
Respite came their way 5 years ago with the commencement of the road reconstruction project. Although a few of the roads are on the finishing line, businesses are resuming with transporters thankful of an end to the era of frequent accidents and vehicle breakdowns.
Now that the road is fine, everybody is feeling happy, going on their way without complaining.
Obikabia Ukebu Hilltop, Ebema in Obo Hill district of the city are some early and fully rehabilitated roads by the Okese Ibazo administration. This Omola is among them. But of course, there are still others in need of attention. In Aba, Neka Ono, NTA News.
The spate of building collapse in Lagos has continued to generate public reactions on diverse issues ranging from regulation to standardization. But at the heart of the matter is the big question revolving around how many buildings could pass integrity test, even as Lagos expands. Michael Olale reports.
The dust raised by the November 1, 2021 Ikoyi building collapse is yet to settle. And going by the criticism the disaster generated, one would have thought that the next collapse could take a decade. Within 6 months after the Ikoyi building collapse, 4 residential structures have caved in, and the recent one at number 24 Ibadan Street, Ebute Meta, claimed 10 lives. Between 2005 and 2021, at least 152 buildings have collapsed in Lagos alone. This is according to data collected by a University of Witwatersrand Rand researcher, Olasukomi Habib Okwala. A staggering statistics that propelled my quest in search of how many buildings can actually pass integrity tests in the city.
Oworo, there are some houses that you will see the shape. They'll give you one side shape like this. Some look as if they are going to fall tomorrow. Government to do something about them.
My interaction with Emmanuel, a filmmaker, is an eye-opener. He believes the ugly trend might continue if certain measures are not taken to check corrupt tendencies within the building industry.
Towards that Orile axis, there's a building there that is bending, and you know that this building wants to collapse. So, and the government is seeing it, and I've not seen any X branded on that place. Yet, start your building today with everything right. They will put an X on it because why? You have not come to settle them.
It is an open secret that some landlords collude with architects to alter the original master plans of their buildings to accommodate adjoining layers while maintenance is not prioritized.
Ensure you give your jobs due diligence. Let the right people get involved. People want to boycott the payment and say, my father had built so many houses, I can build. Of course you can build.
If a group has been certified to be an inspector, it's like appointing inspectors to do this certification on behalf of government. And they are the ones to take the process through. All that the government needs to do that, okay, it has been certified, and the integrity of that organization or the integrity of the people are at stake.
The consensus going forward, according to experts, is for monitoring to be strengthened while legal provision for the revalidation of existing buildings be considered. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NTA News.
Thank you, Mike. President Muhammadu Buhari felicitates with former Deputy President of the Senate, Ike Ekweremadu, as he turns 60. In a statement, President Buhari joins with the family of the lawmaker, friends and associates on the landmark celebration, saluting his contributions to the legislature, where he has served since 2003. President Buhari commends the public service trajectory of Ekweremadu, which has seen him serve as Chief of Staff to an Enugu State Governor, Secretary to the State Government, Senator, Deputy Senate President, and Speaker ECOWAS Parliament. He wishes the lawmaker good health, sound mind, and further service to God and humanity. Another accolade for excellence comes the way of the leadership of Africa's largest television network, the NTA. Curious about the source? Then hang in there for answers and more stories coming your way right after this time out. You're welcome. With new heights being scaled every day, along with outstanding service in quality delivery of news and informative programs, the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, continues to receive accolades for excellence. This time around, it is the Director General of the NTA, Yakubu Ibu Mohammed, who received an award of recognition from the 2022 Awards Steering Committee of the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria for his sterling leadership qualities and taking NTA to greater heights. Olabode Arewa has that.
Just like a plant whose leaves continue to flourish every season, the Nigerian Television Authority (NTA) is still blazing the trail with its array of top-quality news and programs. The efforts have not gone unnoticed by the Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria (BON), as it institutes an award ceremony to recognize excellence among media outfits and professionals. A delegation of its award steering committee is in NTA to inform the management of efforts to recognize talent in the broadcast profession. Bayo Awoshemo is leader of the delegation.
Broadcasters have been celebrating other people. We've never really celebrated ourselves, and that with so many talents in the industry, there's time to recognize performance.
Commending BON's efforts and recognizing excellence, the Director General of the NTA, Malam Yakubu Ibu Mohammed, observed with delight the positive role of broadcasters in promoting peace and unity.
An award from BON, to a broadcasting outfit, is an award from people in the business. People who know what the business is all about. If they say you are the best, you are the best. So this is a very progressive move on the part of the Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria.
The award ceremony is expected to be showcased later this month in Abuja or Olabode Arewa. NTA News.
Congratulations, boss. Hydroelectric Power Producing Areas Development Commission is strengthening human capacity to meet set targets of delivering on key areas of its mandate across coastal communities. This came to the fore at a strategic leadership and management training for senior staff of the commission. Abubakar Akwanga reports.
Inefficiencies in leadership and management skills constitute a bane on the seamless implementation of policies and programs of any statutory agency. This is why the Hydroelectric Power Producing Areas Development Commission is collaborating with the Center for Leadership Development to enhance staff capacity and stimulate productivity.
We are having a management retreat, a management program, a management training that will guide and enhance the knowledge of the management staff for effective programs and project delivery to the Commission.
At the end of your interaction with facilitators, you will have been able to discover areas you need to improve on to engender the needed leadership aimed at taking Hypertech to the next level of development and growth.
We expected that after the program, directors and heads of units will go back to Mina and other respective offices and start their administrative functions in tandem with our vision and mission.
As the Commission continues to match its words with actions, popular demands of communities captured on the priority list are now changing from paper plans to physical projects. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
There is a growing concern amongst nations as the war between Russia and Ukraine continues to disrupt supply chains with attendant consequences. In mitigating this, the Central Bank of Nigeria is promoting a paradigm shift amongst graduates and undergraduates of tertiary institutions from seeking white-collar jobs to entrepreneurship development in the country. Musa Abubakar has been looking at the tertiary institution entrepreneurship scheme ties.
This group of experts are keen to get the top 5 entrepreneurial innovations to access 900 million naira TIES grant of the Central Bank of Nigeria. After reducing the size of institutions competing for the grant from 140 to 30, this second stage of the selection process will further choose the top 5 most commercially viable ideas. This is coming at a time the global economy is in dire straits, stemming from the war between Russia and Ukraine with no end in sight.
At activities that are, job stimulating, that will contribute to economic growth, things like the creative industry that we know a lot of our youths really do. We're looking at agribusiness. Agri is priority of President Muhammadu Buhari and the governor of the central bank, Godwin Emefiele. We're also looking at, things that will contribute to exports, things that will employ people.
The Tertiary Institution Entrepreneurship Scheme TIES is developed by the Central Bank of Nigeria in partnership with academia to unleash the potentials of the Nigerian graduate entrepreneurs. This is by providing reorientation, training, and innovative financing model to promote entrepreneur ecosystem. Aisha Suleiman is a beneficiary of the term loan component of the scheme.
I intend to utilize my money in buying more machineries, because before now we actually take our products for nutshelling and grading. So with this money, I'll kind of get mine.
Equity investment is the third component of the TIES program, expected to inject fresh capital to startups and expansion of businesses by the time it takes off. It is expected that in line with the president's quest to create millions of jobs in 10 years, this will go a long way in bridging the unemployment gap in the country. In Abuja, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
So far, so good. Time now for our last break for the night, after which we bring you a bit of sports. You're welcome. President Muhammadu Buhari congratulates the chairman and chief executive officer of OilServe, Engineer Emeka Okwosa, on the inauguration of a world-class hospital built by Emeka Foundation. The president says the inauguration of the Dame Irene Okwosa Memorial Hospital Thursday, May 12 in Oraifite, Ekwo-Sigu local government area of Anambra State, is a demonstration of public spiritedness, love, and care for the deprived and less privileged, urging other world to do individuals in the society to emulate him. The hospital is a general facility with special interest in cardiothoracic services. And on sports, Ken Abudike looks at sustained growth of National Volleyball Division 1 League as this year's edition of the league sets to begin in Abuja. Thanks for the sports package, Ken. Now let's look at the weather update for tomorrow, Thursday.
Glad to have you with us. We appear to be setting up for another rainy night. We have these cold rain clouds over the eastern edge and parts of the northeast. We expect these systems to build and be mostly over the central states and the southeast by Thursday morning. So we have prospects of thunderstorms from late Wednesday night into early Thursday morning, mostly over the central states, reaching as northward as Kaduna, westward as Niger and Kwara, and southwards to parts of Ekiti and Oshun. We also expect some rains to the coast of the south. It's not leaving out the southwest. We have prospects of thunderstorms by late afternoon into the evening hours over the eastern edge, mostly over the northeast and part of the northwest. We also expect rains to linger over the coast by late Thursday evening. And that's from here. Thank you for watching.
With the weather forecast for tomorrow, Thursday, we conclude News Extra for tonight. Thank you so much for being a part of it. But before I go, remember to be a star. Connect with the NTA to stand against rape and rapists. I'm Fatima Umar Buba. Good night.